Welcome back, Guardians. In this video, we're going to tackle it a little differently than we have in the past. Typically, I've always done super scripted and immersive lore videos, and that won't change with Destiny 2, but I felt I should give you my thoughts on the recent gameplay reveal and break down the lore implications. So in the first part of the video, this is where we see Zavala's journey as a Guardian. From the first M4, A1, or what seems to be an M4 relative, he picks up to his first time fighting and dying to the Fallen. But the more interesting part is revival as Arisen. He's one of the first Guardians. At first it seems he came from a crashed spaceship of some kind. We know the Awoken were originally humans that melded with the Void in deep space during the period of the collapse. And perhaps he was a part of those original humans and his ship crash landed back on Earth. The potential there is interesting, but for now it's unexplored. In the second part, we see Zavala moving to the Traveler, either guided by his ghost or called to the light of the Traveler. And perhaps it's both, but it signifies Zavala's presence as a leader to the human refugees. We also see Lord Shaxx, or someone wearing his armor, but it's most likely him. Typically in the lore, Titans like Shaxx are incredibly unique. Another piece of interest is the level the speaker garners, the level of interest the speaker garners. He actually seems more like a high priest of a religious order, pushing others around him to take up the cause of the Traveler and that of the Light. Now the real question I'd ask here is this our speaker, or is this the first speaker? Is there a difference between the two? Something that I'd like to see explored. So hopefully with Destiny 2, the speaker's backstory will be explained in more detail, as the quasi-religious nature of the Light has intrigued me for some time. Then we witness Zavala beginning to build the walls, or at least beginning to help build the city up. Maybe not just the walls just yet, but attempting to be there. He was one of the first original Risen. He is protecting refugees and being a part of the first city age. Now, this is the period prior to Six Fronts, the time of Raziel Azir, the time of the Risen. Then we shift into what looks to be either Six Fronts or Twilight Gap. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think it's either one, honestly, but I'm sort of leaving that up to interpretation. Perhaps it's one or the other, maybe it's not. So Fallen have seemingly invaded the city. They're massacring civilians and refugees. Now Zavala and the other Guardians were there to turn the tide, to stop the Fallen invasion. Standing at his side seems to be a Titan in the Six Fronts Memorial Sash and Lord Shaxx. We also see for the first time that Zavala is not only capable of just being Arisen, but has the qualities of a Titan with his arc strikes and those abilities. We also see Cayde 6 in this cutscene, and it further reinforces the dynamic of the two Vanguard leaders. Although, again, which battle this is still up in the air, but I'd like to know what you guys think. So in this next segment, we hop into the actual gameplay reveal. We are in the perspective of the new Warlock subclass, the Dawn Blade. And as you can see, there are 3 abilities and a super: the standard Firebolt Grenade, the Warlock Melee, and then the third ability, which seems to operate as both a healing ability and a potential movement ability, although I'm not 100% certain on that. Haven't had my hands on the game. When I say movement ability, I think of like a Titan bubble shield. It forces you down to the ground when you cast that super. I picture this almost being sort of the same thing. Maybe that third ability is just a movement ability, and the healing rift is again just another ability, or maybe the third ability is the healing rift and we just have an extra movement ability as Guardians. I think having more agile and mobile Guardians is something that we all want for all classes. Now, it's incredible to see such devastation exist in the city, but it's also great to see the tower transformed into a war zone. Now, the interesting pieces to take away are obviously the new subclasses and Guardian abilities. So in my interpretation, these are modifications of the existing subclasses, or they could be completely new subclasses, but I'm leaning towards them being modifications of the Titan Defender, now called Sentinel, the Warlock Sunsinger, now called the Dawnblade, and the Hunter staff-wielding new Arcstrider. Now, I could be completely off base with this, but perhaps these new subclasses are a manifestation of various abilities we have gained through our time fighting the darkness, new and improved ways of destruction to be wielded against our enemies. As we continue, we get to see Zavala and Ikora in action, and let's just say Ikora's Void Bomb was pretty dope, pretty spectacular, gotta say. But she also seems to be very remorseful of the loss, quote unquote, of the speaker. It furthers the appreciation Guardians, especially those of the consensus, have for the speaker in keeping the peace. The loss or removal of the speaker opens the door to a continued faction war or a return of the exiled or heretical factions. We're looking at Lysander's Concordat and the Binary Store Cult. Maybe even a return of Osiris. But who's to say if the speaker is actually gone or just missing? We also see in this segment what the Cabal have placed on the Traveler. It's a large claw-like device. It's also later revealed that Dominus Gaul, or Gary, is jealous of our power and wants the light for himself. He feels he deserves this power after all the things he's done to become warlord, or that he feels we don't deserve the power because of the things we've done to his comrades. But typically, when you say warlord, it isn't the same as general, so perhaps Dominus is another rank of the Cabal hierarchy. But I'd be more interested to see if this Gaul or Gary character is a potential player in a Cabal power struggle. Big questions and big takeaways from this are interesting lore-wise. Firstly, we can see that Gaul and the Cabal's Red Legion have the ability to drain and sap power of the light through their sophisticated technology. This is not unlike the ability the Hive possess when sapping the power of the light from the Traveler only using a shard of the Traveler. It further reinforces the theory that all light is connected. So if the Traveler loses his power or is unable to amplify the light, Guardians, which are technically physical manifestations of the light, are also set to suffer. The final piece I want to discuss lore-wise is the locations we are going to explore and some of the cutscene material. The confirmed planets or locations are obviously Earth, the European Dead Zone, the Vex planet of Nessus or Nesus, Titan, and Io. Now, there are some cool potentials with the location. Originally, the European Dead Zone was supposed to be part of the original Destiny, but now it's going to be in Destiny 2. Now, so I'd expect us to see Fallen and lots of them. But the real question is, are these Fallen under the control of the House of Kings and Uldren? Is it a new Fallen house? Could we see the arrival of House Rain? There's so many cool possibilities to expand the universe and that of the Fallen. With Titan and Io, I'm going to assume we're going to see more of the Clovis Bray technologies and more information on our XO brethren. I'm super excited to understand the XO backstory and learn more about humanity's golden age corporation, Clovis Bray. Now, in the cutscene, there is a piece that shows a sun being destroyed by this large device that looks like it could be Cabal in nature, or it could be potentially Vex. Now, my interpretation of this is very simple. Perhaps it's backstory on the Cabal, what happened to their planet, or it's a potential where the Earth is destroyed along with the moon. It's really up for interpretation. From what I saw, there's actually two different versions of this. There was a version during the gameplay reveal trailer, and then there's a version during the official trailer. And you'd have to go back and watch both of them to get a better idea. But I could sort of feel like it's going to be maybe some backstory on the Cabal. Why are they here? What happened? And perhaps they just have so much power and it ran rampant, or this is what Dominus Gaul did. He destroyed a system and was exiled. Cabal literally means, in a way, exile or different faction. It means to be a rebel. And the idea here is interesting to see, will he use this power against us if he's pushed to that limit? And I am going to assume that in the Destiny 2 story, we are going to push him against the wall as he's done to us. But as always, I'm curious to know what you guys think. Is this something you are excited for story-wise? Do you believe they will deliver something that makes sense, that is concise and has a clear vision? Me personally, I certainly hope so. Stick around for more weekly lore videos and continue to give me criticism. I wouldn't have redone this video otherwise. You guys deserve better, and you will get better from me. I love you guys. Peace. Hey everyone, Wally here. If you'd like to support the channel further, please feel free to check out the script link, my Patreon, and the new apparel in the Spreadshirt shop, all linked down below. If you want to join the conversation on our Discord server, we allow everyone in. Like the video if you enjoyed the content, and subscribe for more.